Welcome back to Joy Recaps, Movie Stories Recapped here. Today, I'm going to recap an American thriller horror film called Voices from Stone. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. This is the story of Verena, a gifted young lady. She possesses a unique talent and cares for bereaved children or children who have accidentally lost relatives. These mishaps have a negative impact on children's brains. As a result, they are unable to live a normal life. However, Verena was in charge of assisting such children until their condition was restored. She was specialized and experienced in her field, having dealt with similar cases numerous times. She had assisted numerous children in establishing a stable life. She had spent her entire life alone, so she could do it as such. She used to live at the home of the children who were under her care. Children's recovery could take a month or a year. This work was based on her interests. She has a new case because an aristocratic family was living in Italy. This house had a small number of members. Klaus and his son Jakob, along with their keeper Alessio, were the owners of the family. When Jakob's mother, Verena, was alive, they were living a very happy life. Verena was a well-known female pianist. Her son was the object of her affection. She dies after falling ill unexpectedly. Jakob's condition had deteriorated since his mother's death. It had a negative impact on his mind. It was because Jakob's mother had told him before her death, "You will not speak out until the time comes." She accepts his promise as well, and Jakob did the same, as he used to keep quiet after his mother's death, avoiding even laughter and weeping. Her mother passed away 7 months ago, but her father's condition has not improved, and his father, Klaus, was concerned about Jakob's health. So he contacts Verena to have her treat his son. Verena takes charge of this case and attempts to find the source of the problem. She investigates why Jakob is not mentally stable after his mother's death, and Verena is here to help him recover. Verena was hopeful that Jakob would be accepted as a normal child like the other children who would be recovered soon. Verena, on the other hand, has no idea. A number of ladies had come here to see Jakob, but no one could stay. Verena questions Jakob after meeting him, but he does not respond. Then, during dinner, Verena notices Klaus behaving rigidly with his son. Verena tries to contact Jakob again the next day, but it is futile. He remains silent. Then one day, Verena discovers the entire house. Then she inadvertently enters a room where she meets an elderly lady. She is the retired Verena housemaid Lilia, who served her during her illness. That lady is extremely friendly with Verena. As a result, Verena feels good while impressing. Then Verena learns more about the family and realizes that Verena is the sole owner of all the ancestral wealth, and they'd been here for the past 12 years, and their storage facility was their source of income. During her illness, Verena had stopped taking income from the storage area. Verena also visits their storage areas. Keeper Alessio informs her that many people have died while removing the stones that are there. Verena, on the other hand, visits their family tomb, where 40 members of that family are buried, and their graves were located within the stone walls. Verena was also laid to rest in the same tomb. Then Alessio, the keeper, asks Verena to listen, saying, "The voice comes from these walls." She refers to the ghosts in a roundabout way, but Verena has never believed in such a thing, so she dismisses it. Verena is terrified after discovering a dead rabbit in her room late at night. Jakob, she believes, has cheated her. He intended to frighten her. She walks into his room. She discovers Jakob, who is sitting mysteriously with his ears to the walls. The sounds appear to be coming from the walls. When she notices it, she holds him up, which upsets Jakob, and he leaves. Then Verena asks Klaus, "Why did you keep Jakob's strange actions from me?" Then she suggests that Klaus and Jakob be admitted to the hospital. Klaus is not convinced, but he claims that his son is not insane. From the walls, he may hear the voice of his deceased mother. Then Verena decides to leave this place without knowing what happened, and he believes she can no longer assist Jakob. Then she changes her mind and prepares to stay for Jakob, growing more fond of him. He occupies the majority of her time. She would occasionally hear from the wall, as if Jakob had given her ears, and she tries to explain to Jakob that there is no voice coming from the wall, because the dead never come back. As a result, we are unable to hear their voices, but her words have no effect on Jakob, and he continues to listen with his ear to the walls. Then Klaus tells Verena about Jakob's talent, which was passed down from his mother. It was piano music. Verena asks Jakob to play the piano, but he does not. There is no doubt that the arrival of Verena has had no effect on Jakob. Verena discovers one of the walls is actually a cat grave. She later discovers that an alive cat was buried there. They had an odd thought about taking cats because cats can bring them good days while protecting them from evil. After a long time, Verena begins to notice something strange. Every night, Lilia would comb Verena's hair, and Lilia's communication had the effect of putting Verena to sleep. Verena has also undergone some transformations. When Verena's dress is torn, Lilia gives her a Malvina dress to wear. When he sees it, Klaus becomes enraged. He requests that she change her dress. After noticing her resemblance to his wife, he forbids her from changing her dress. Then he tells her that she can wear this dress again. Klaus was a sculptor who wanted to create a statue of his late wife Malvina. It was difficult for him to make it because his wife was no longer alive. He asks Verena for assistance in creating a statue. It means Verena will have to sit naked in front of him. Verena initially feels bad, but she agrees to his insistence. Then something strange happens. Verena begins to hear voices from the walls as well, and these Malvina voices. Then Verena starts hallucinating, losing her control. Something had been said to her by the voices coming from the walls. She later suspects that she is in love with Klaus. She expresses her emotions to Klaus. Klaus chastises her for it. He declares, "You, too, have gone insane like Jakob. You can't treat him any better, so get out of here." But there was something strange about Verena, and she refused to leave that place. She implores Jakob, "You must speak now. If he does not speak, your father will send me back from here. I have romantic feelings for you and don't want to leave." However, Jakob is unconcerned about her words and departs. Verena is going to be sick the next day. Her condition has deteriorated, as it did with Malvina. She is terrified and decides to leave right away, packing her belongings. Klaus approaches her as she is leaving with her luggage. He tries to put a stop to her. Verena is taken aback when she inquires about Lilia. Klaus claims that Lilia died 6 months ago. Verena becomes more terrified upon hearing it and begins to flee. She was having difficulty walking due to her frailty. Keeper Alessio was on her tail. She loses consciousness while walking a short distance. After lifting her, they bring her back to the house. She is lying in the same bed where Malvina died. Verena's condition has deteriorated. Then Verena suspects them, believing Klaus murdered his wife for money and buried her in one of the walls. As a result, the voices come from the walls. They forcefully administer medicine to Verena. Klaus appeared to be as tough as nails. Verena opens her eyes to find herself in the wall, and Klaus is burying her where Malvina's soul is already present, touching her face. Verena, on the other hand, has been roused from her slumber. She finds refuge on the bed. Her actions were not revealing because she is the real Verena. She pays Jakob a visit. For the first time, the strangest thing happens here, as Jakob now has a smile on his face. He rushes to embrace Verena. He expresses for the first time that "I missed my mother too much." Verena responds, "I am here," and all three of them happily return home. Then Verena is shown playing the piano, despite the fact that she has never learned how to play. There is only one paranormal scene in this film, but there are others. It was Lilia's ghost who could only be seen before Verena. It wasn't Lilia's ghost either, but the alive buried cat ghost in the wall. These people were thinking about the same things, so this was the reason Verena would lose her mind while speaking with Lilia, because it was taking over her mind. And it was because of this that she fell in love with Jakob and Klaus. Malvina's soul used to communicate with Jakob through the walls. Verena could hear after some time had passed. Lilia desired to transfer Malvina's soul into Verena, so Malvina can live a happy life with her family when they return to this world. Malvina's soul was transferred to Verena when she was buried. This is why Jakob immediately recognizes her mother, because Malvina promised Jakob on her deathbed that a lady would arrive, and it will be the ideal opportunity for you to speak. And the timing is ideal. Verena's background reveals that she was unhappy with her life and thus became a victim of them. And the scene of her playing the piano reveals that she is now living a happy life. The film concludes here.